that might lead us to our last kind of insight here, the point on personalization of the internet. So the insight here is that research by the Nielsen Norman Group, which is like a leading UX research firm responsible for a lot of web products that you see today, like Apple products, Facebook products. A lot of their designers have gone on to engineer a lot of these software and hardware products in the past 10, 20 years. And so their research shows that most gains in the user experience are shrinking. So whereas in the 2000s, we had the discovery of like the hamburger menu or like different information architecture as a way to click through certain things to get to where you need on a web page. That was all new. We had to discover like how to arrange things on the screen so that people could browse, people could search, etc. All of those gains are now shrinking, meaning like there's not much new innovation there. And with Gen AI, um, it's kind of interesting because a lot of the input and the output, it's not fixed and deterministic anymore. It's more like it's more different. So what you put in every single time into ChatGPT, what might be different and what you get out might be different. There's more of a variation per se. And the only innovation there so far with Gen AI is just chatbots, right? So we only have chat boxes and chat bots as well. So there's not much user experience innovation. There's a lot of like the Gen AI tech itself is new, like ChatGPT and Perplexity, etc. is new, but like the way that we interact with it is not as there's no ground being broken there. So yeah, it's curious. I heard an ex Apple designer talk about how we might see interfaces get a bit more, I think it was like a bit more flowy. So for example, because what's underneath Gen AI is not deterministic. It's not like, oh, I'm searching up pizza near me and then there's 5 results. There's always going to be 5 results for pizza near me. If I search up something in ChatGPT, I can get a different result every single time. So there's more kind of like different possible versions, right? He said that we might see that the UX or UI, it might be less fixed. So now we see a lot of boxes. See a lot of containment. We see a lot of like specific buttons that are there consistently all the time. But that interface might change. It might get into a space where it's more organic, more organic. You already see kind of the organic like colors and palettes already coming into web products, right? Like gradients, a lot of gradients already starting to come in. But we might start to see even more like organic UI, so interfaces. So maybe like scroll buttons that maybe like I don't know, like a volume button that that automatically adapts depending on what your environmental sound is, or it changes depending on something else. But it's just much more organic, is what I'm saying. So that was a lot, but yeah, I'm curious what you think. Like maybe in the world of media, how you see the experience of technology changing and becoming less deterministic and black and white and input and output and structured in the same way that the internet was like 20 years ago or 30 years ago until now.
I think that you're right. There's going to be a big push for just like, customization and all of that. And I like what you're saying about how it's not deterministic. Like I'm not even sure how to describe this, but you're right. Everything is just starting to become like unstructured and more like it's just like a flow, like the wind almost. It's becoming a more organic um from, these like ChatGPT, it's taking a base layer of information and then it structures it in the way that it thinks is best for you and what it knows about you. And it's also kind of randomized to that specific moment in time where like you can ask it a question. You could ask ChatGPT probably the same question 2 times over, but that second time that you ask it that question, you may not even get the same exact answer as you got before. So this actually reminds me of something I was thinking about like a week or two ago, which was like, you guys ever use like dark mode on your computer? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
also like
Apps. Yeah.
there's the new iOS update. So like I've been doing this like where they give you the option to kind of like customize the color of your apps. So they're giving you kind of like a more unified look on your home screen. I think this is the future. So this is maybe not necessarily an idea that I'm saying someone should go execute on, because this may cost hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars to like actually create something that can reliably do this.
Let's do this.
But but I still think it's possible because of these technologies that have like really come into play in the last couple of years. So basically, like, the on for there's a Chrome extension for a universal dark mode. So when you go onto any website, it automatically makes it into a dark, easy on your eyes palette for reading at night. So that's like a really primitive version of what I'm suggesting, which is like, so take that same idea of like you could have a toggle on the internet for making it dark, or let so just think of any type of any UI from a certain company that you really enjoy. Uh,
Mhm.
for me, I always really liked Google's material design around like the 2015 era. I'm a really big fan of just the way that Notion looks. Like I really like how it's really simple. So I'll use that as an example. So basically, imagine a tool that allows you to go onto the internet with that unified UI experience everywhere you go. Like you hop onto Google, but Google doesn't look like Google right now. Google looks like the Notion aesthetic, or the example that Runda's pulled up here, the old material design look. Like let's say you really like that. So you go on Google and it looks like that. But then you hop onto Facebook, and Facebook is Facebook, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like this aesthetic that you have requested.